Did you know that what we eat every day sets the stage for Alzheimer's disease? As Alzheimer's disease affects more and more people worldwide, taking care of our brain has become a priority. But how do we care for this inaccessible organ? Lisa Mosconi, a neurologist, director of the American Alzheimer's Prevention Clinic, and author of Brain Food and XX Bread, points us in the right direction. The brain is the organ most strongly impacted by poor nutrition. Today, we'll see how we can, through our diet, maximize our cognitive resources and prevent Alzheimer's disease. Once diagnosed, there is currently no treatment capable of curing Alzheimer's disease. The best we can do is prevent it. So, what are the foods I absolutely must avoid to protect my brain? Here are the 7 foods most harmful to our physical and brain health. When consumed regularly, these foods accumulate in the brain, destroy its structure, accelerate aging, and promote neurodegenerative diseases. White foods. Did you know that the white foods you actually consume every day are the worst foods for your health? White foods are actually refined carbohydrates, namely white sugar, white rice, and white wheat flour. Why are they bad when we still eat them every day? Refined carbohydrates originate from whole grains, which, like cereal, have had most of their components and fibers removed. They are left with only fructose, sugar, and refined grains. In summary, are empty calories that lead to rapid increases in blood sugar and insulin levels. According to a study, diabetic individuals are twice as likely to develop Alzheimer's disease as non-diabetic individuals. It has also been shown that a meal consisting solely of high glycemic foods can impair cognitive abilities and damage memory. Memory damage affects not only the elderly. It seems that even in young, healthy individuals, those who consume a lot of refined foods show poorer memory than those who do not. This memory impairment is explained by the fact that excess sugar causes inflammation in the brain, specifically in the hippocampus, responsible for memory and learning function. Inflammation is recognized as an early sign of Alzheimer's disease. Choose their whole counterparts over refined foods. Whole sugar or natural syrups over white sugar, brown or wild rice over white rice, and whole wheat bread over white bread. Trans fat-rich foods. Trans fatty acids, when consumed in excess, can have a detrimental effect on our brain. Naturally occurring trans fat in meat or dairy products is not as problematic. The concern is actually synthetic fat formed when vegetable oils are processed into margarine. Trans fatty acids, or hydrogenated fats, are widely used by the food industry as a preservative. This prevents food from spoiling. The results of an American study show that the high consumption of trans fat leads to brain shrinkage and a decrease in brain volume, significantly reducing cognitive skills and memory, thus increasing the risk of neurodegenerative diseases. How to recognize trans fats? They are found in margarine, ready meals, industrial pastries, biscuits, and chocolate bars, but also in everything considered junk food, pizza, fries, nuggets, or candies. Far from wanting to throw away all fats, good fat indeed has an important protective role for the brain's health. Protect yourself from cognitive function decline by avoiding trans fat. Eating foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids regularly increases the secretion of anti-inflammatory compounds in the brain and can be a good strategy to make the brain bigger and prevent neurocognitive diseases. Sweeteners. Sweeteners used to replace sugar are particularly present in sodas, energy drinks, and beverages labeled as sugar-free. Several studies on rats have shown long-term cognitive deficiencies. High consumption of sweeteners can indeed have negative consequences on learning abilities and emotional changes. One study reveals that a group of individuals who consume large amounts of sweeteners show greater nervousness and depressive disorders. People who regularly consume sweetened beverages are at a risk of stroke or Alzheimer's disease up to 3 times greater. Reasoning can be a real pleasure in life. However, excessive alcohol consumption is devastating to the brain. Chronic alcohol consumption alters our metabolism, reduces brain volume, and destroys neurotransmitters. People who regularly and heavily drink alcohol eventually become deficient in vitamin B1. A deficiency in vitamin B1 can lead to brain disorders, memory loss, vision disturbances, deliberately, a disease manifested by heart and neurological disorders, as well as Korsakov's syndrome, a neurodegenerative disease that causes instability, confusion, and memory impairment. Alcoholic sweetened beverages are unfortunately known to be even more harmful, as they combine alcohol with bad sugar. Many people believe that moderate alcohol consumption is good for health, but a reasonable amount is actually a very small quantity and would correspond to about 350 millismoles for beer and 148 milliliters for wine. What about a glass of wine a day? Moderate consumption is not daily consumption, but having a glass once a week is not bad for health. Ultra-processed foods. Ultra-processed foods tend to contain excessive amounts of salt, sugar, and fat. These include soft drinks, energy drinks, sweet or salty snacks, pizzas, hamburgers, ice cream, or even instant powdered soups. These foods are generally low in nutrients but high in calories, promoting weight gain and having a negative impact on brain health. According to a study of 52 individuals, a diet rich in processed products leads to altered brain metabolism and reduced brain structure. These signs are characteristic of Alzheimer's disease. A diet rich in ultra-processed foods decreases the production of BDNF, a key protein for healthy brain cells found in various regions of the brain, including the hippocampus. This BDNF molecule is very important for long-term memory, learning, but also the growth of new brain cells. A low level of BDNF prevents it from fully fulfilling its role as an anti-inflammatory for the brain. Thus, natural pressures quantity. Specifically, how do you know if a product is processed or not? According to an American study, if a food contains any of the following substances, it may be considered processed: artificial coloring or flavoring, hydrolyzed proteins, added sugar, corn syrup, and corn. Hydrogenated oil, sodium glutamate. That's why it's important for you to check the product composition when you go shopping. Age-rich foods. AGE stands for Advanced Glycation End Products, and these foods result from a reaction between sugar and protein residues. These undesirable molecules for the body are produced when food is cooked at high temperatures, over 120 degrees Celsius, with sugars reacting with animal proteins. This gives foods their golden color and flavor. Inflammatory agents and oxidative stress promote weight gain, skin aging and wrinkle formation, diabetes, cardiovascular, liver diseases, kidney failure, and arthritis. By accumulating in blood vessels, AGEs can cause arterial sclerosis, and by accumulating in the brain, they promote Alzheimer's disease. So, what are the age-rich foods to avoid? According to a New York study, out of a range of 549 foods, the age content of a food varies depending on its cooking method. The same food, blanched or boiled, will show a lower but considerably higher age production. Even fried, it can produce up to 100 times more AGEs than if it had been cooked in water, for example. 100 g of beef, which naturally contains 77 HKU, contains 2,443 when boiled and 671 when roasted, nearly 3 times as much. A pot roast contains 1123 HKU, but a grilled chicken contains 6,020, 6 times more. As for steamed potatoes, 100 green of potatoes contains 17 HKU, but 1522 when fried, nearly 100 times more. Whatever the food, the cooking method is decisive for its age content. Oil-free cooking, even at high temperatures, allows the amount of AGEs to be controlled, but grilling or frying explodes their production. Salt-rich foods. Excessive salt consumption can also have detrimental effects on physical and brain health. Salt is often used as a preservative in many processed and ultra-processed foods, such as canned soups, prepared sauces, salty snacks, deli meats, etc. Excess salt in the diet can lead to an increase in blood pressure, which raises the risk of cardiovascular diseases, strokes, and cognitive disorders. Studies have shown that high blood pressure is a potential risk factor for the development of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. Furthermore, high salt intake can contribute to dehydration, which can negatively affect cognitive function and concentration. It is therefore important to carefully monitor salt intake and avoid foods high in salt as much as possible. To reduce your salt intake, prioritize fresh and unprocessed foods, and limit your consumption of processed and prepared foods. Opt for natural seasonings and herbs to enhance the flavor of your dishes rather than adding salt. By adopting these healthy eating habits, you will help preserve the health of your brain and reduce the risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases. All the good things are in this list, And yes, the foods that we crave the most seem to be all gathered in the 7 types of foods that promote Alzheimer's disease. Fortunately for us, our body's enzymes and antioxidants are there to block these harmful compounds. So, don't worry if you consume these foods occasionally, as we can't deprive ourselves of everything either. Let's try for now to reduce our consumption 1 to 2 times a week. However, let's keep in mind that poor nutrition is not only bad for our feelings, but also harmful to our brain. What we eat directly influences our quality of life. Let's be vigilant. If you want to know more about foods that are excellent for your health, especially if you are over 45, click on this video, which will undoubtedly surprise you.